Howdy, folks. Grok the DuckFarmer here, and I'm playing the Feed the Beast Evolution on the FTOG server, hanging out here at my base, and I've been running through a bunch of quests. In fact, if we take a quick look here, I've done all of the Ender IO quests except for this last one, making the powered spawner. And I already had broken a spawner from way back when. And I kept clicking this going, there's no recipe for this, but you hit the next page and it says the recipe for this can be found in JAI by hitting U on a broken spawner in the inventory. Well, that's good, because if we hit U here, this shows how you can take whatever spawner you've got and apply any soul to change it to that type. And then if we hit U on this, this is the recipe. So you need the Z logic controller. If we hit R on that, you got to have the slice and splice. To get all this, I needed to set up a zombie spawner so I could get zombie heads from that. Anyway, a bunch of stuff. In fact, let's just make that powered spawner. Happens to be a magma cube because that's what the spawner was. And that should complete the end of the thing. And obviously it's not. Huh. Well, oh, nope, there it is. It's completed. Cool. I'll just get, we'll do magical goods. Why not? That should be everything. Why is it not completing? Expected a everything was done. Well, that's the way it goes. If we go back to here, oh nope, it shows it's all green, so it's done, but no achievement sort of thing. One of the other things that I worked a lot up was Fargo talismans, and you look at here. There's all these different talismans. This one I got from a quest reward that I did, part of the pyramid thing, but I had to go through and make all of these to make this work. Anyway, the force of environment, the force of explorer, the force of overworld, this is the force of nature, the force of warrior, the force of rejectors, the force of mystics, and the force of negative. This one, what's this one? Copper, this does, oh, it acts as a magnet. It's not required for what I want to do, which is this, make the soul of Minecraft. So, let's actually, ta-da, water essence. From what? Oh, Ars Nouveau. Well, that's handy. Let's go V and drop that off into the system because I don't need it right now. There's the announcement. Right. Up here, I want to show off, I made the pattern provider and the molecular assemblers up here. So, oh, and also there's a crafting storage so that I could take and let's go into here and let me grab all of my charms out. There's all 8 of them. There's all 8 of them. But I need the center base. In fact, if we take a look at this, I need this, the ultimate talisman base. If we hit V and U on this, U on this, there's the ultimate talisman base, and I don't have it. However, what I do have, I can craft these things because I have crafting, and I set up the actual bits for this. In fact, I added the pattern encoding so I can make patterns to this, and I also added up the wireless crafting terminal so I could see my molecular assemblers and hook them up with the patterns. So I've got all of those patterns there. Back to my regular crafting because that's what I like. Let's go ahead and make one of these next. I've got all the bits that I need for that, so let's hit start. And done. I had looted enough of the other bits that it was easy to make that. So now if I go U on this, hit that, and get this one charm, there's that. And now I don't need all these charm slots like I did before, but I'm going to keep them. And that's just the way it is. I went with the leather belt as opposed to the hunter's belt, and so I can have my charm belt back into the belt slot. Anyway, yeah, all of those charms into here. There were several of the charms I turned off. Off the top of my head, I don't remember, but I did get rid of several of those. Oh, I want to take, wrong thing, B, and put my fortune pick away. All right, all my hearts are back, which is very nice. So I did that. some other stuff that I did, I'm looking around, let's go down. I mentioned that I put my power generation down here, and yeah, 5K is all I'm using right now. I did also make one of these extractors from Zycraft. I had not made one of those before, but because I've got lava here, water here, and I've got that magma block underneath and cobble here, it's making cobble for me. And there's recipes for that, which is very great. I've also started, I've got lava here and water here, and I've got the netherite block generator here. Really cheap, 6 netherite and 2 glass, and it's making cobble for me 64 blocks a cycle. Which I don't know how, it's like a second. And then I've got the matter condenser here with a 64K storage component, and it's slowly getting, 64. Is that anymore? Yeah, it looks like 64 cobble about every second, it looks like. And I've already got 3 of the singularities, and I'll just let that generate. I also moved down here my setup for the power generation of items. I don't know how many more of these I'll run through. Oh, what happened to my chest? I had a chest here. Where'd that chest go? I don't know. The other thing I also did is I dropped the floor down here by 1. It used to be up at this level, just so that I have a little bit more headspace to do stuff. And, why not? The other thing I did, because I have the Ender IO stuff and the painting machine, there's the Slice and Splice. I've also got the Soul Binder in there. I was able to make these travel anchors, which aren't all that expensive. And let's pull that up. Travel anchor. Once you get Ender IO, it's not all that hard. You do need conduit binder and this pulsating crystal, which is a diamond. But this pulsating, that's just done with an Ender pearl and iron. Is cheap. But the nice thing is when you start making those and when you paint them so they blend in, what's nice about this is there's a mob farm right there. If I crouch or jump, I zip over here. And then I can go to the occultism base. There we go. And I can go up to my mystical agriculture and then back to the mob farm and then back to the base. Very nice to be able to jump that way. I can also, wrong key, let's hit B, so I can grab the staff of traveling. That's something that also comes, I got that as a loot thing, but when you hold it, you have a much longer range where you can see stuff. So you can sit there and say, hey, let's go up to the mystical agriculture. Let's go to the mob farm. Let's go back to the base. And so really super fun. And I like being able to jump those. I think they also, if you had one directly above or below, you could just jump or crouch and go to them as well, which so they act just like an actual elevator. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to set up this player transmitter so I could keep this charged up as well as my Curio, this wireless universal terminal, and you can see I've added 3 components to it, which makes it very handy. But that's not what we're going to do today. Today we're going to deal with Ars Nouveau. Quiet, zombie. And for that, of course, we need to have a new floating island, of course. And I started by setting up this tower going with Ars Nouveau bits. And because I went with the blue tree, whatever that is, the cascading archwood. And because of that, I went with the regular stone brick because it just matches very nicely. So I set up this tower. Unfortunately, it wasn't very stable. We had a little rip here. I think maybe because the island doesn't have much by way of a stable base. And things kind of shifted and broke, and I managed to shore it up a little bit. Unfortunately, the penthouse here at the top kind of cracked down the middle. So the end result is, let me drop down to here. I had to condemn it. Structure is just unsound. I can't use that. So instead, I went ahead and made this building here to do the Ars Nouveau stuff. And if we jump in, you can see what I've done. One of the first things I did is I moved over my Ars Nouveau stuff, which, hey, let's move that into there. And I also went down here and made a few things. So let's talk a little bit about stuff that's made. First, made the book. not a problem. And then I could upgrade it right away because I had all those bits. Made the scribes table, although I haven't used that yet. Then I made the imbuement chamber, and that's the first thing you're going to need to make the various source gems. For that, amethyst. Let's grab one of these amethysts and also some lapis. And I'll grab two of those. Doot, doot. And I've set this up so that, let's see, can I just, nope, pick. There we go. There's my conduit. I love being able to have that facade on there. Anyway, I set up this little Ender IO conduit so I could drop in an item and it instantly gets put into here. It picks up a little bit of source to convert faster. Ding, there's my source gem, and it pulled it out. And if I drop this next one in, one goes in, it gets converted into a source gem, ding, and then it's out, and then it just keeps feeding it whatever is available. Now, when I initially set this up, it just didn't work. And that's because if we click this, I needed to put a basic filter in here, and super easy to craft, just paper, and it's our paper and a hopper. But if I right click this bad boy, I put a source gem in here, which means if we apply this back here, this will extract only source gems. Because what was happening is I had a stack of lapis, and it was transferring the lapis in and out, in and out, in and out so fast I couldn't see it, and it was so fast it couldn't actually transform, which is the problem. So you don't need to have the source nearby. It just goes faster if you do. And having the cover for your conduits, super nice. Now to make the source, I went with the volcanic source link. Let's see, imbuement chamber, made some pedestals, made the ritual brazier. I think, because that way I could put stuff on it, and then the volcanic source link. Here's some source jars, not a problem. And I've done the same sort of thing where it's pulling out blocks of coal, and like 3 of them fills up a jar. It's really fast, and with the huge amount of that. And I think this holds like an entire jar worth of source. And as you can see, I've got a lot of source jars here, so I've got plenty. I also went ahead and crafted the source relay, but it's the collector. And so anything within 5 squares of it, which means all of these jars, it just automatically sucks in the source as necessary. And it's connected to the source relay, which is a splitter. So I can split this to other locations. So far, none of the things I've crafted here, which was hardly anything. I think the only thing I crafted, let's run over here real quick, the Dominion wand. So I could sit there and let's click that again. Stored in your memory void. Okay, it's pointing to something. But I could sit there and right click on something and then right click on another thing to set the location. But this one, when I'm trying to right click this and then set it here, it says there's no recipe because I'm trying to put this in, but there's no recipe that's valid because of these items here. So I don't know if this needs source or uses source. It's been such a long time since I've done anything with Ars, but I prepped this up. So we've got that going. And let's look at the recipe for this. I put first I put around 2 of the source gems and some gold, added a stick, and I've got enough, and it's cheap enough. I'm just going to make another one of these. I want some source gems. There we go. I need to move all of the stuff into the main storage instead of having it hang out here, but it works. All right, I also need to grab some gold, if I type right, and a stick. Not a stock, a stick. I gotta put the fingers on the right keys. There we go. One of my precious sticks. All right. And as long as these are within, I think it's 4 or 5 blocks, and it doesn't matter where you put the stuff around, and I right-click this, Ars has some of the coolest art, I think, of pretty much any of the mods I can think of, especially any of the magic mods. It is fabulous. Look at the way that transmuted. Let's grab that. Yay, I've got two. All these blocks, the color palette is really nice. The animation is really nice. I like it. I've hardly touched it, but I do like it. I'll stick that up here in case I need it. And put this here. And then what happened to my Ars book? There's my Ars book. And here's where I know very little. If I hit C on this, I've got all of these runes, the tier 1 runes. I've got every one of the tier 1 runes because I looted a ton of these codex entries, and I had like 103, so it looks like I used 60, but there were a couple that if I use it now, it says I've learned everything, I just got a little XP. So I could just use those all up, burn them up for XP, but lots of other stuff that I've looted through here. Lots of the woods, the tower that was next to my base I tore down in the overworld. Lots of these spell books. And I'm going, oh, that's kind of fun. The first thing I did, because I had never played with the spells before in Ars, it was just something that I used the machines to make stuff for other mods. But this one, I made a mage light. So I've got projectile, conjure mage light, and then amplify. I don't know if I really need oh, well, I want higher light level. And so, and now I've got a blue mage light. And if we hit the light level, it's light level 15, which is very nice. I'm curious if I take that off and create that and then go pew. What's the light level now? 14 instead of 15. Cool. Okay, I definitely want the higher mage light, so we'll amplify. And I can't do more amplifies. That's all I can do. So we'll create that. I also have fireball. Unfortunately, it's a projectile, it's ignite, and then I need some other stuff which are tier 2s, and I haven't done any of that stuff. So we'll stick with that. But I did loot these lanterns, and when they're broken, in fact, if I break one and put it back up, doink, there's no mage light in it. But, and I have to stand back quite a ways, I can go pew and put one in, which I think is very cool. And I just had fun setting this up with, rather than stairs, I like the gentler slope of slabs, and then we've got this little arching stuff going on. It was just fun setting this up. Unfortunately, because I've done so very little with Ars up to this point, I'm not sure what to do except start getting into, let's see, what else did I do? There's the source relay, enchanting apparatus, the core that goes underneath it. I did the wand. There's the connector. Yeah, I just did some of that, but I need to start with the tier 2 spells, and for that I need to click down here. There we go. There's tier 2, and start figuring out, okay, glyph of arc projectile, so it'll arc as you shoot stuff, and that's cool. What was the thing I wanted? Dampen? No. Was it there was an explosion? That's firework. There we go. Glyph of explosion, so I can make that fireball one. And to do this, I need TNT, fire charge, and a fire essence. Well, that I need to throw these things into the imbuement chamber, put these on pedestals around nearby, and that will make some fire essence. I got a water essence. Yeah, those 3 water essences, I just don't have fire. So I have to play with that and just go through and start making the tier 2. And I believe I plopped them here. I may have to ask Flask when he's in, because he knows so much more about Ars than I do, especially the spell part. But I think that would be fun to do. There's just a lot of off-screen crafting I'm going to have to do with this. I really wanted to get a whole lot more done, but real life stuff just kind of jumped in and stopped me cold. I did make a tier 2 glyph, and getting the glyph whole thing just was driving me nuts trying to figure it out. But I think I figured it out. in that, looking at the documentation here on my mage book, if I hit C to open up this, I've been looking at all these things for making spells, which is nice and all that, but that's not what I want. I go to documentation and then click this documentation link again. This is the page that I was looking for because it has all the tier 2 glyphs in here that I could look at and figure out, okay, what do I want to play with? And I was thinking AoE, except that needs a firework star, and there is no recipe for firework star in the pack. And I went, well, poop. Okay, what about extend time? Well, that's easily enough. Block of redstone clock can do. And then I was going, well, how do I do this? Well, if I right-click the table, it brings up all the glyphs. I was trying crouching right. I was trying all sorts of things. Right click. That's all I needed. Time, and we'll go to the extend time. And if I hit this to select, there we got the items floating around in there. So if I go spatoo, and the clock is now gone. If we go spatoo, and then the magically things right. I was thinking I needed ink. I was thinking I needed feathers. I was trying all sorts of stuff, and it just wasn't working. All right, there we go. We've unlocked that. So that makes 2. It's going to take a long time because there's a lot of crafting and figuring out what I need. But now I've kind of cracked the case. See, I go in here, click this, click that, and I can look up and see what I need to get for all the different ones. Oops, go back to here. Arc projectile. Okay, I can do this. I need to sit there and get all those bits. Fortunately, I can sit there and access all my stuff remotely, which is not a problem. It's just going to take far more than I want to do right at this moment. Real life stuff. It's so much fun. But anyway, Ars Nouveau, it's fun. I do love the models. I do love the animations. A real aesthetic to it that I really like. It is purpley, gray, gold, fun. It's a nice mod for that. Am I going to dive into Ars Nouveau for the next video? Probably not, because this is going to take a long slog through all this, and I've got other things to do. But I am still having lots of fun with it. And nope, right click. There we go. Mage Light. Mage Light. Mage Light. Mage Light. It's fun. I do like it. Anyway, this has been Grok the DuckFarmer here, doing a little Feed the Beast evolution on the FTOG server, and have a little blast with Ars Nouveau. And thanks for watching. Bye. Pew, 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 pew.